All right, what's up? My name's Alex Rogers, and I am the host of Chaos to Command, the podcast. The podcast is for athletes, entrepreneurs, business owners, single parents, divorcees, really anyone who has gone from something that was just really hard and challenging for them internally that they struggled with, but they didn't really let on. Outside of that, like their outside life, their resume, their accomplishments, their social media, maybe even some of the relationships that they had, made this look like they were on top of the world, like they were winning. You know, they had the nice bank account, they got the nice house, they got the car, they got the successful job, maybe they got the good body, they got the win record in the ring or the mat, or they started a successful business, they wrote a book, did a podcast, whatever. That's all the stuff that we see right on the outside. But what's inside is what creates chaos. And a lot of people who are super successful, whether it's in sports or business or anything, like that other people see, they might not know how they feel inside. Your closest friends and family might not know how you feel inside. And that creates chaos, right? Dysregulates your nervous system, sleep's messed up, recovery's not there, anger outbursts, or maybe just internal, breakdowns. So that's what this podcast is about. It's about people who have chaos inside, but they're doing well on the outside. And, if you're going through chaos, you're still welcome on the show. I want you on the show to talk about it because maybe this will be healing and helpful for you. But more than likely, you don't want to talk about it on a public forum like this. So it's Chaos to Command. So that being said, it's people who were in that spot and are now in command of their life, inside and out. They found peace, they found purpose, they found their identity that was missing. So we want to hear those stories. I want to ask those questions. I want to have those discussions, so we can work through this. So you can help somebody. That's the whole point of this, really. It's to help people, whether it's you, the person that I'm interviewing, whether it's me or the audience. It's just that's what it is. It's to help people. Again, that could be anybody. Doesn't matter what your background is. Doesn't matter your situation. You could be a billionaire. You could live under a bridge. You could be a business owner. You could work in a cubicle. It really doesn't matter. This is truly for everybody because everybody is somebody, and everybody is somebody to somebody. So you never know what someone's going through because maybe those questions aren't asked and they don't want to talk about it. So this is that soft launch pad for you to do that. I myself have been through a lot of things, and that's where I kind of came up with this idea. I did a bunch of podcasts. I talk about things. I'd have to schedule a therapy session after almost every podcast that I did, because the first few that I did, I had nothing set up the day after. And it crushed me a couple times. Sometimes I just talk and stuff just falls out of my mouth. I'm like, what is this? Where did that come from? I didn't even know this was happening in me. Like, there's so much chaos inside of me. There's a tornado in my heart, a hurricane in my brain. Didn't mean for that to rhyme, but I'm glad it did. So that's what this is about. That's where it came from. So I'll give you a quick snapshot of who I am. If you're just tuning in and you haven't seen my Instagram or you haven't heard my other podcasts that I've been guests on, or you just don't know who I am, or you want a little bit more. So again, this is super helpful for me, and I hope that it will do the same for you. So anyway, like I said, Alex Rogers, currently 34. It's 2026, June. It's when I started this, so this will technically be episode 1. I did an episode yesterday. I got cut short because he's a coach at a gym that I train at, and he had to go do his duties. So we'll make that episode 2. Episode 1 will just be me and the iPhone. But yeah, Alex Rogers, 34 years old. I'm from Vermont originally, born and raised by my parents, and I have a younger brother and 2 older half sisters. I didn't live with them. I lived with just my mom, dad, my younger brother. He's 18 months younger than I am. Grew up in the middle of the woods, nowhere, Stockbridge, Vermont. Had a fine childhood, nothing crazy. Maybe there's some stuff in there that I could unpack with a psychologist or psychiatrist, or some sort of therapist or counselor. But as of right now, there's nothing that really sticks out. And that's something that's always asked of me at these podcasts that I do. So my childhood was fine. Parents were together. Went through elementary school, middle school, high school, all there in Vermont. Wasn't the best student, wasn't the worst, but not too far off, I suppose. Only A I got was in gym class, but I just didn't like school. Played sports, soccer, basketball mostly. And then after high school, I had a couple random jobs. Nothing too defining, really. The only thing that I would say that really stuck out between the time I left high school to the time I went to the Navy was I sold drugs for a while. Sold a bunch of different types of drugs. Cocaine, ecstasy, marijuana, Adderall, mushrooms, Molly a little bit. So I did that. It didn't work out well for me. So I stopped doing that. I worked on the railroad for a little bit as well. That was pretty cool. Then I was a snowmaker at Killington, the ski resort. I joined the Navy in June 2013. Went to boot camp, BUD/S prep, and then graduated BUD/S class 304 in April 2014. Went to SQT, broke my thumb there, got rolled back a class to 305, graduated 305 February 1st, 2016. From there, I went to Louisiana. I lived in Slidell, Louisiana. I went to Stennis, to the medical school they had going on there. Started April 1st. Checked in April 1st, didn't start off the program until about June or so. We had to wait for 306 and 307 to class up. Then we had some guys from 308 join us a little bit in. Around this time, though, this is when the first big thing of chaos, I would say, actually affected my mental and emotional health. My parents went through a divorce, and it messed me up pretty bad. I lost track of really everything that I should have been doing, especially with the medical school stuff. I was sent there by the Navy to become a medic for my platoon, which, it's a serious job, just in general being a SEAL, but now you have the added responsibility of being the life giver, the lifesaver but potentially of your teammates. And I got derailed off of that, got in a bunch of fights, was drinking, some other stuff too. So it just wasn't good, right? My dad was struggling. I was mad at my mom, so I withdrew, but not before I failed an EKG test for the EMT advanced. That was in November, beginning of November. The command down there, luckily, took really good care of me. They essentially gave me 9 weeks off to just go home, go back to Vermont, spend time with my dad, recollect myself, help him out, be there for him, and all of that. So that was good. I came back January, I don't remember, middle of January 2016. My dad went down with me to Louisiana, and we drove from there to San Diego. And I checked into SEAL Team 3, February 1st. And then I was there for 8 years. So Team 3 was great. I had a good time there. I learned a lot, did a lot, traveled the world. But again, I got in some trouble there just by being stupid, trying to fit in, lost my path, lost my purpose internally. Of course, I wanted to be a SEAL. I wanted to be the best SEAL there could ever be. And I feel like I worked pretty hard at that. But socially and emotionally, I was not where I should have been. And I got in trouble. Well, back up. In ULT, unit level training, we were doing our final battle problem in Las Vegas. It was the night of election night, so November 4th, right, 2016. We were at Trump Tower because our training was in Nellis Air Force Base, right outside Las Vegas. So we went there, and everyone just was having a good time drinking, but the place was just absolutely packed. It was hard to get anywhere because it was so full. Well, I found this trick that well, I didn't find it. One of my previous friends had used to do it all the time, and so I took a page out of his book and I did what he did, which was go up to the bar and just start charging my drinks and my troops' drinks to someone else's credit card. I did that for a little bit, and then they were like, "Who are you again?" And I somehow in my drunken stupor made up a name, and that name, maybe I saw it subconsciously on one of the receipts or something. But anyway, the name I gave was someone that was staying at the hotel. And from that point on, I was just like, yep, everybody that's with me, put all their drinks and everything they want in my room. Don't even worry about it. I got it. So they didn't argue, and they just said, okay. And yeah, fast forward to deployment. There was a chief on deployment who'd heard about this. Him and I did not see eye to eye on things. That's another story. It's not really relevant to this. But anyway, he reported me to the MAs and then accused me of a bunch of stuff that I didn't actually do. He accused me of like stealing TV mounts and a bunch of other stupid stuff. And so I got in trouble for all of that. Came back from deployment, had a DRB, which is a disciplinary review board, which basically I just stand in the center of a room, and then in front of me there's a table full of all like senior chiefs and master chiefs, so E8s and E9s. And then around the room in like a horseshoe sort of deal is all the chiefs of the team who came in. And I just got berated and yelled at for a while, and then they go around the room and each chief can say something or not, they can just pass. I did that, got pushed up to XLI, so the executive officers, whatever, that's more of like a sit down, you get to tell him your side, it's more of like a discussion more than anything else. And then he makes a decision on what to do. So he decided that I need to go to Captain's Mast. So I went to Captain's Mast. The CO who I did this with was, I think he was pretty level-headed. He didn't yell at me. He just kind of scolded me like the stupid little boy that I was, and handed me 2 months half pay. And then I got moved to a different platoon. So I started off a new platoon, wasn't allowed to go to primary school, and just had like this looming, I don't know, just something just over me all the time. I felt like just terrible, it wasn't who I was, it wasn't how I was raised. It was dumb. So anyway, go on through my second platoon. I worked my way up. I went from like the idiot who did this, and some people thought it was really funny, but they had to kind of be careful with how much of a compliment they gave me, even if I was good at my job, because I just wasn't the best person. So I became a fire team leader, so in charge of a couple other guys. And on deployment, we got extended due to COVID, and I was struggling with that because I had my wife and daughter were back home. I missed them just like everybody else did. I got super stressed out just like everybody else did, and I wanted to just kind of double down on training, numb everything, and just train. And I was kind of a jerk. Not kind of, I was super hard on everybody. If they didn't want to train with me, I basically made fun of them brutally. And then, people kind of just dealt with it, whatever. But at a point where it crossed the line, I designed a full mission profile exercise for the troop to do. I set it all up and all this and that, and I'm an E5, so honestly, I probably didn't really have much business doing that at the time. But I set up this thing, all me, trying to do everything by myself, trying to I can do all this and do all that. I'm so great, you guys all suck. And they went and did it. They didn't go do it how I would have imagined, but it was also, again, poorly set up. And I do this debrief and just rip into people. Just not professional, not detailed, not nothing, just telling people they suck and all this and that. And even if I had some valid points, which I'm sure I did, the way my delivery was wrong. It was off. It was terrible. So the platoon again gathered up and were like, F this dude, we don't want him here. He sucks. We don't want to work with him. He shouldn't even be here. So I got in trouble again. 2 for 2, right? Get back to San Diego after a 9.5-month deployment. Come to find out I'm getting a Trident review board. It's the scariest thing you can get when you're in. So it's just a board of Master Chiefs who judge you off of 5 different pillars, essentially, whether you should be a Navy SEAL or not. And I'm not really sure exactly what had happened. I don't really care to get into it because it doesn't matter anymore. But they recommended that I get my bird pulled. So that sucked, right? But it's just their recommendation. So I go sit in front of the CO. He makes the decision. He elected that I did not do that. Told me that just because I was a solid operator, and he said everyone had heard that I was really good at my job and knew what I was doing, did not mean that I was a good SEAL, because they have the whole man concept. There's the SEAL ethos, there's the SEAL creed. I wasn't living up to a lot of that. I was not a good teammate, just because I had a really good, shot and could handle a weapon well and tactically sound and had all the skill sets of being an operator at the team, did not mean that I was a good teammate. So I was one of those high performer, low trust guys. So I again got moved to a different platoon. 3 platoons, 3 different platoons. But this time I actually took a lot of initiative to be better, to try to learn and try to grow, try to heal myself and improve who I was. Because the first time I was I was encouraged to do this. I didn't do anything wrong. Yes, it was illegal, morally and legally it was wrong, but I was snitched on, and I was just bitter about it, and I didn't want to take any sort of accountability for that. Really, I wanted to blame that chief. I wanted to blame the people who didn't stick up for me. This time though, I was this was me, 100%. I messed up. I let down the guys who welcomed me in with open arms and warm hearts when they knew that I basically had gotten screwed before. And I did, this is what I did to them. So that sucked. So I took that on board, and that was really hard, really hard. I did a lot of reading, a lot of reflection, and I feel like I got a lot better after that. So I went to my third platoon, again, started at the bottom, but then again, like, I worked hard. I was good at my job. I made good calls, calm under pressure. I was good at command. So, for my rank, that is, I got promoted again to fire team leader, right? So, went on through deployment, finished out SEAL Team 3, well, like, okay, this guy did all right. And left there, had a really great relationship with pretty much everyone in my platoon, and my troop leadership. And I left the West Coast, went to, on my own accord, went to Virginia Beach to TRADET 2, where I became an instructor. I wanted to go there, or we wanted to go there, my wife at the time, and we had 2 kids, wanted to go there because we were both, again, like I said, from Vermont, and we thought being closer to family would be better. People had told us that the East Coast was family friendly, and it was a good place for people like us. So we moved there. Honestly, I hated it right away. Moved there in May 2022, probably about 6-7 weeks into it. I was just like, I don't like this. The weather sucks, the food sucks. The people are just, they're not San Diego people, I'll just say that. So, I just wasn't really happy. Her and I kind of drifted apart a little bit. And then I started going to this boxing gym. I met this girl. Was immediately attracted to her. She was immediately attracted to me. We talked. We started talking a little bit, hung out a little bit. One thing led to another. We just made out a couple times, but I would spend time with her. She was definitely emotionally cheating on my wife. Right. Again, slipping back to just being a bad person, not a good man, not a good father, not a good husband, just a bad person. Because I was good at everything that I was doing. I was picking up boxing quickly. I was doing just fine at work, but internally is when the chaos probably actually never really went away. It just kind of morphed and changed and moved around a little bit inside. So we stopped doing that for a couple months. I still pursued her though, and then my wife and I had continued to grow apart. And this was, like I said, I met her probably June 2022. Pursued her. Basically, I didn't stop, essentially. And then I'm getting hung up on some of the dates here. And then I think around October 2023, my ex had went to New York. She was going up there a bunch for work, but she would go like once a month for like a Thursday to Sunday usually. And then she started going more regularly. And then the trips went from like Thursday to Sunday to like Tuesday to Monday or Monday to Sunday. And she was just spending like a lot more time there. And then I remember one time in October, I was in Fort Chaffee at one of my training trips. And she went to New York. And I just remember something felt really off. She got really upset that our neighbor wouldn't watch the kids one day before she left because she wanted to go get waxed and tanned. And I was like, why are you doing this? That I'm not even there, like interesting. But she swore up and down all the time. She was super loyal to me and she'd never done anything to make me doubt her. So I was like, okay, well, I guess you're right. And I'm guilty, I'm actively pursuing somebody. So anyway, that continues on. January 2024, me and this girl, we'll just we'll just call her Rachel for now. Rachel and I did jujitsu at the same gym. We started talking just after class one day, and then we just kept talking. She listened to me like no one's ever listened to me before, and I just felt really heard. And I already had that attraction to her over the past year or so at this point. So we cleaned up, we everyone left, and the coach was like, hey, you guys mind like just locking up if you're just gonna stay here and talk? Because it's January, it's freaking 10 degrees outside. We're like, yeah, sure, no problem. So we clean everything up. I'm like, well, we should probably leave, shut the door, go out to my car. We're just leaning against my car talking, and we were like, it's freezing cold. Do you want to just like get in my car? Like, I don't want to leave you just yet. Like, this is the first time we've talked like this in forever. So we got in the car, we made out a little bit, and then just like, okay, like I gotta get going, got a wife and kids I gotta go home to. So but I was like, I'm leaving for Arkansas tomorrow. I have to drive. Like, do you want to go? And she's like, yeah, sure, why not? So just pick me up in the morning. I'm like, all right, I'll be leaving early. Well, if you're ready to go, we can go. So I go to Arkansas the next day. I stop by her house, knock on her door. She's asleep, whatever. So I left a note in her car. These little things that like I should have been doing with my wife, but I wasn't. I'm like a couple hours in the drive, and she calls and she's like, I thought you were taking me. Like, I told you I had to leave. Like, it's like an 18-hour drive. I'm doing it solo, so like I can't wait around. I gotta get going. And she's like, no, I get it. It's all good. Whatever. So we kept talking though. And then I went to a driving school out in Nevada in February, beginning of February. This is 2024 still. And I was like, hey, you should come out. Come to Arkansas, hang out with me. And she's like, yeah, we'll see. I don't know, whatever. And then she ended up coming down though. She flew down, and we hooked up like all the way this time. And that continued to happen for a while. I'd start just going to her house after work or whatever, because she lived near the base, and then I'd go home. I did that for a while, and then in March, my ex-wife and I went to a Navy SEAL Foundation gala. I had an iPad. It was on the bed in the hotel room. She's getting her hair and makeup done, whatever. I'm downstairs in the lounge with a friend of mine, and I'm texting her, not realizing that my iPad's connected to my phone and the ringer's on. So it just like kept going off and off and off and off and off. She finally was just like, what the heck's going on? Like, I'm trying to get my hair done or whatever. So she was like, looked at my iPad. So I was texting this girl who she'd asked me about in the past, and I was like, oh, no, nothing to worry about. Probably said a bunch of mean shit about her just to like try to hopefully get my wife off my tail. So I walk in the hotel room, and she said something that I had literally just texted like 10 seconds ago, and I was like, did I accidentally text her that same thing instead? Like, so confused. And then she was like, I saw your iPad. Like, I know you've been talking to her. You've been telling me that she's this and that and the other thing, and not to worry about her and this and that. Like, I knew something was up. I was like, no, we're just friends. Like, we just been talking. Like, I'm sorry and whatever. So we go and do the dinner. We'll go back to the hotel room after the dinner, and like there was tension like the whole night. There was 2 different beds. She was in one bed, I was in the other, and it was just awkward. Because I'm like arguing with this chick, Rachel, and I'm arguing with my ex-wife or my wife, and just like, and again, just chaos internally. And so then her and I had like some of the best sex we ever had that night in the hotel. You know, maybe she was just like, all right, like I'll remind you, like we're married and whatever, and try not to get you distracted. I don't know what happened, but anyway, that's what happened. So, and then we come back. I tell her, Rachel, or she probably actually interrogated me. And I end up telling her like, yeah, we had sex, and you know, whatever. So that again creates more chaos because now she's like, well, what the hell? Like, essentially, we're dating, and then you cheat on me with your wife. Just see how that could get real weird. So that went on for a little while, and then we drafted up a separation agreement between her and I. Filed it in like April, I think, or end of March. And then put our house on the market and sold him in May, and then we each got a new house in June. We had to rent back, so we lived together for a while. So we actually were roommates, like I like to tell this girl that we were. But things just started to fall off the wagon with that. But then I got my house, you know, continued in this relationship with Rachel, and everything was like, for the most part, okay. But yeah, wasn't overall chaos again. And went through all that, and we stayed together, and then then we started like fighting all the time, and she was the other woman, you know, she's who I had the affair with. She was just the person that I cheated on my wife with, and like my family was against it, my friends were against it, like it was wrong. And it's not really her fault though, it was all mine. Because I started this, I pursued it, I continued it, I lied to her. I made fake separation documents to show this girl that we were, you know, apart, so that her and I could like be together. Yeah, messed up stuff, right? I was super creative in the worst possible way. Just consumed by lust. And yeah, so that relationship just got worse and worse over time. Let's see, end of August, I was like, I gotta get out of here. This is August 2024. I'm like, I gotta get out of here. Like, this isn't good. I need a break. So there was an opportunity that came up for guys from Tradet to go to Germany for a couple months. And I was like, I'll do it. It's like, send me, here I am. And so I went to Germany for 2 months. Rachel came out, visited me for the first, like, I was there for like a week, and then she came out and spent like 10 days, kept missing her flights just to stay with me. And we had like, honestly, a really great time. And I took advantage of that because she left and I downloaded Tinder. And just was like messaging random chicks on Instagram. One of them I started talking to a lot. And then right before I was set to leave Germany, I was like, I'm gonna go to Iceland. I've always wanted to go there. I can reroute my flight back. I'm gonna go there. So I go to Iceland. Rachel meets me out there. I didn't want her to come out there, but she did. You know, because I'm feeling like I'm cheating again. Like this chick who I've been talking to really likes me and all this and that. So we like I was on the flight from Germany to Iceland, and her and I had made plans that when I got back to America, I was gonna go see her, and she lived in Tampa. And so I'm talking to this chick the entire time. Rachel's literally right next to me in Iceland. I lied to that girl too. I was like, oh yeah, I'm all alone and this and that, whatever. Rachel's having a great time, and I'm just like faking it, but texting some other chick. And again, just like chaos, right? I'm trying to balance all this stuff. So get back to America. I fly into Charlotte because I left my car at my mom's house She lives in North Carolina. So I get my car, go back to my mom's house, unpack, like, okay, hey, cool, I'm here. And then I spend the night there and drive to the airport the next day, and I fly to Tampa. I go meet this chick down there. It's supposed to just be for 3 days. See what happens, how it goes, whatever. But then the hurricane had hit. I forget the name of the hurricane. But so I got stuck there for like 6 days. At this point, Rachel's just like, what the hell's going on? Where are you? What's going on here? Like, you live in Virginia, why are you not home? And I had told my coach, unbeknownst to him, like, all this stuff was going on, right? So Rachel's at the gym, she's training, whatever, and the coach is just like, he said something about, oh man, I can't believe Alex is stuck in Florida because of the hurricane. And she's like, what are you talking about? He's in Florida? He's like, yeah, the hurricane, he's stuck there. And she's just like, freaks out, like, why the hell would he be in there? So she started blowing me up. And I'm like, what the hell, how do you know this? And she's like, you can't hide from me. Josh told me that you were in Florida. I'm like, fuck. So I'm freaking out again. And I'm like, this is my lies, just look at what it's done to me over the last 8 years, and it's just getting worse and worse, and I just not learning anything. And so I continue to lie, right? Like, well, you're wrong, stay wrong. I'm like, that's my mentality at this point. I'm like, oh, I'm down here, like, my brother's a lineman, he's in Florida, which was true. He was like 2 hours away from where I was, but I never actually saw him, but he was in Florida. So, and then she found out that I was with some girl, and then I ended up telling her who it was, and that just created a whole debacle. When I was down there, she egged my house, she stole a bunch of like mail and like food delivery I had, like threw it all away, and a bunch of just stupid stuff. And then I came back, was home for like a day or two, and then I had a super fight jiu-jitsu match. And of course she came, she dressed up, she looked really nice, was there to support me, and I like barely gave her the respect or attention that she probably should have got. But then we continue on our little journey, and she just was super supportive of me, everything. Like, I ran the New York City Marathon. She helped me train for that. She took care of me. She came with me up there. I finished the race. She was right there waiting for me. She cheered me on throughout the race, super supportive of me. And I was, I didn't reciprocate the way I should have. And we got in some arguments, of course, but overall, like, everything was fine. Went to I guess you could call it like a TBI or mental health clinic thing in Boston for 2 weeks. She came to that with me too. Was just there every day. We argued a lot, and it was really hard, and I felt like I made all this progress throughout the day. Then I came back and argued with her. But yeah, just constant state of chaos with that as well. And but she was there, right? And then January 2025, things just weren't getting any better. Tried to save a little bit. Like, I have an interesting and exciting lifestyle. I'm always traveling somewhere and doing something, even when I was active duty. So one of those things was another Navy SEAL Foundation event. So what she was hesitant to go to, because that's like what my ex and I had done. We got into a bunch of them over the years, and now I was inviting her. So her and I went. She was again like trying to come off like this is my man, this is my husband, like we're getting married, whatever. And I was just like, I don't like this, but I'm here, so whatever. And that's how it was. And we got in like a huge fight on the way back home in the Uber. It was like an hour Uber from Naples to Fort Myers Airport. And and then we got Indian fighting at the airport, and it was just a mess. This was like it was like January 25th, I think. And then I started Virginia High Performance, VHP. It's a program for military and veterans to go through to kind of reset their mind and body. And I was there, and I was just like, look, I can't do this anymore. Like, this isn't good. She like then went and broke into my house, and like she just took her shoes back. She didn't do anything crazy, but she broke into my house, and I was just like, this is ridiculous. Like, and she was threatening me for like work stuff. Like, I'm gonna tell them you did this, I'm telling them you did that, and threatened to call NCIS on me. So I'm at VHP and I call NCIS. And I was like, hey, I got this chick. We're off and on. It's gotten real bad. She's doing this and doing that. Like, she's saying she's gonna call you. You know, like, what do I do? And he's like, I haven't heard anything. You know, this literally happens like once a week with you guys. You guys sure know how to pick them. I was like, yeah, I know, right? And then like we're on the conversation, we're on the phone call, and he's like, hey, is her name? And he said her name. And I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, bro, she just called. He's like, so more than likely we will have to look into this. Luckily, you've already called me and told me like what's going on, that this would probably happen. He's like, because usually people don't threaten something and then, you know, it sounds like she's trying to manipulate you into doing something, and if you don't, she's gonna do this. He's like, so that honestly just really discredits her. He's like, so this is gonna get probably pretty stressful for you, but I don't think you have anything really to worry about if everything you're saying is true, and it shouldn't be too hard to disprove. I was like, well, what do I do, you know? And he's like, honestly, the best thing to do is go down to the magistrate and get a emergency protective order. And he's like, other than that, I don't really know what to do. I was like, all right. So I did that. I left VHP, went down to the magistrate, got an emergency protective order, took out 13 charges against her. It was 9 of like petty larceny, breaking and entering, trespassing, assault and battery, and some other whatever else. I don't know. I don't remember. She came over, tried to break in my house again. I barricaded the front door with like my assault bike and a bunch of stuff, just piled it up. And she tried to like come in, so I ran out the back door into the backyard, called 911. Like, hey, my ex-girl's here. I got an emergency protective order on her. Like, please come here. Like, I'm outside. I'm literally hiding from her. And they're like, all right, we're on our way, whatever. So she leaves. I go back inside, re-barricade my whole house and everything. And then like 20 minutes later, she shows up. And again, just freaking barges through the door. And I, again, ran out the back and hid in the neighbor's lawn this time because she was looking around the backyard. Then she went out the front door. And as she was walking out the front door, the 2 city police officers show up. And I'm like, oh no, she wasn't inside yet. Outside yet. She was still inside my bed. I was like, hey, it's me. Like, I own the house. It's my house. Like, I'm the one that called. She's inside right now. Like, please just like get her out of here. Like, I don't want to see her. I don't want to be anywhere near her. I got the emergency protective order. Like, I don't want to be near her. It's like, I've never hit a woman. I've never will. And, you know, if somebody keeps breaking into my house, I don't know what I'm going to do. So the best thing for me to do is just stay away. And they're like, it's fine. Just, you know, go over there. I'm like, I'm just gonna sit in my car. Like, I'll sit in my car. I'll lay down so like she doesn't see me. Just like get her out of here. And they're like, all right, cool. So they go in. They detain her. They didn't cuff her because she started crying. And then so I go inside. I grab my phone, and she just starts texting me from the back of the police cruiser, like, you better do this or I'm gonna do that, and all this stuff, just like saying she's gonna throw me under the bus and all this stuff. So they ended up getting the emergency protective order. They serve her with it. They arrest her. They bring her down to the station. And I'm like, okay, thank God, you know. I go to bed, whatever. And it's like a no contact. She's not supposed to be anywhere near my my house, my property. She's actually wasn't even supposed to be on my street. And she came back, left a note on my car, on the windshield. And I was just like, I'm not doing this. Like, this is getting out of hand. So I went down to the magistrate again, filed more charges that she broke the protective order and did this and did that. I guess she got arrested shortly thereafter, but not before. She took out an assault and battery charge on me that my friend had called me and told me, hey, what's going on with you two? And I was like, dude, we got in this big fight, this happened. And he's like, well, just so you know, she said that she's gonna take out her own assault and battery charge on you to kind of like even the scales. And I was like, well, I didn't do anything, so whatever. Next morning, I go, like after I get back from the magistrate with this note or whatever, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym to open mat. And I'm leaving, I'm about to get on the highway, and my doorbell, my ring goes off, and it's like 3 police officers. So I answer, I'm like, hey, what's going on? They're like, hey, are you Mr. Rogers? Like, yeah. And they're like, where are you at? I'm like, oh, I just left to go to the gym. Like, do you need me to come back? And they're like, yeah, we gotta talk to you about something. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I go back thinking it's about the stuff I took out against her. They're gonna tell me what's going on. So I show up, I'm in my front yard. They kind of put me in like a little triangle, like officer, and then the guy I'm talking to in the front. And I'm like, this feels kind of weird, but I didn't do anything, so no big deal, right? They're talking to me, what's going on? I tell them this story, give him my ID, he reads off my number, and like as soon as he finished whatever, the 2 guys behind me came up and like grabbed me and like, put your hands behind your back, and started yelling at me. I'm like, whoa, what the hell's going on? Like, what is this? And they're like, you're under arrest. And I was like, is it from this chick I just told you about? Is it assault and battery? And they were like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I told you this was gonna happen. Like, I knew this was gonna happen. So I get arrested, I get brought down to like the jail. I'm there for, I don't know, like 3 or 4 hours, finally get out. Walk halfway back to my house, then my friend picked me up, brought me back, and I was just like, what the fuck? So I don't remember exactly how it happened, but either way, she ended up getting arrested. Again, we spent 5 days in jail. She got out of jail, and she loves Google Voice numbers, still does to this day. Started talking to me, and I'm like, I might miss you too. So we started talking. We had court for March 13th, which, remember that date here in a minute. But we had court that day. Up until a few days, or up the rest of February, we were seeing each other regularly, hooking up regularly, spending the night even with each other. And then we get in an argument, and then we're like, I'm gonna take out more charges and all this stuff. And it got bad. So finally, I'm just like, I'm done. Like, I am done with this person. I get on, I think Hinge, dating app. I meet someone. I talk to a couple of people, but I meet someone. I'm like, hey, let's meet up. Let's go get coffee, like today. And she's like, wow, really? It's like, yeah, let's do it. She's like, I've never had anyone ask me right away. Like, they always try to make these plans and they don't follow through. I was like, well, promise you I'm not like other people. She's like, okay. So we go and meet up. I pick her up at her house, go to the coffee place, we talk till the place shuts down. We're sitting outside. The only reason we ended the date, this was like March, I don't know, 3rd or something, like first Sunday of March, 2025. And then I'm like in this program through Tuck, which is Dartmouth's business school. And she's like, come over to my house tomorrow. Like, I'll make you lunch. You can hang out, do your classes or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, that sounds good. So I do. I go over to her house. We hang out, just had the best time. She made me all this delicious food, coffee, snacks. I was just super supportive. She just went and did her thing. She's like, I just like having someone around. Like, you just do your thing. And like, if you need something, just let me know. But like, I'm going to be doing whatever. House is spotless. It's so pristine. I'm like, this is crazy. This is so cool. Like, I like this. And we just had this great conversation. Now she's doing all this stuff for me. Like, win, So that goes on for like, I don't know, a week or so. She didn't kiss me for like 6 days. It was like 9 dates or something. And then I had two super fight events, like 2 fights in one night down in Myrtle Beach. And I was like, hey, you should come. Like, why not? She'd be like, really? What is jujitsu? So I tell her, I'm like, this is this thing I do. And she's like, it sounds cool. She's like, how are you getting there? I'm like, I'm gonna drive. She's like, well, why? I'm like, I don't know, save money or whatever. She's like, oh, well, take my car. I was like, what? Really? She's like, yeah. I'm like, I don't feel comfortable with that. I don't even know you. She's like, no, take my car. It's a company car. You get free gas. I'll give you the gas card. I'll show you how everything's done. Like, you just take the car. Just drop your car off here and take it. And I was like, okay. So I show up to her house the morning of I'm going down to do this super fight. She gives me her car. The thing's spotless, nothing in it besides a big basket of like snacks and treats and drinks and like a book. Then there's like a blanket and a pillow. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. She's like, yeah, so I have to work, whatever, but I'll fly down tomorrow. And I'll be there before your fight. Like, just pick me up in the morning. I was like, this is incredible. Like, I love this. So that's what happens. Pick her up the next morning. We hang out all day, have the best time ever, walk the beach, talk, find like jellyfish and stuff, and she just picks it right up. We have the same sense of humor and everything. Goes to my fight. She's never seen anything like it before, and she just thinks it's great. Continue on our relationship, whatever. I let her in on one morning I was dressed up. I had my suit and everything on because I'm going to court March 13th. And, 10 days after I met her. And she's like, oh, you look really nice. Like, why are you doing that? Because she knows I'm in the Navy and you don't wear a suit in the Navy. At least not as an E6 at 8 in the morning, So I go do court, whatever. Everything just gets dismissed. We dismiss each other. Like, she basically got what she wanted, because we hooked up and a bunch of stuff too. And like, there's no point in having a protective order if you're going to see each other all the time. So I tell her, I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. Like, this is the chick I was with. But she's not supposed to talk to me like ever again. That was like, both our lawyers were like, you guys we're throwing this out, but like never speak to each other again. It was like 9 hours later, I got like tons and tons and tons of texts from this chick. And I didn't respond for a long time. And then this other girl that I was with, we just kept hanging out. And somehow Rachel had found out about her and started harassing her family, called her ex, or one of her exes, one of her baby daddies, and was like, you got to keep that guy away from your kids, and like, he's dangerous and he's this and that. So he calls her, freaks out. We're at this barbecue, like birthday party thing with my 2 kids and then like her 2 kids. And it's just like, this isn't good at all. Like, I'm freaking out. And I'm like, I'm gonna go. Like, I can't be here right now. Like, I'm creating a problem for everybody here. I don't like this. So I go to leave, and then she comes out. She's like, no, like, don't leave. It's fine. Like, we'll handle this. Don't worry about it. So that was like end of March or so. And then in April, Rachel just uptick in this stuff. to a point where the girl I was with, we'll just call her Amy for now, is like harassing her. And so Amy and I were like, we got to do something about this. Like, this isn't going away. Like, she's attacking our friends, our family on social media, whatever. So we ended up getting a restraining order against her, 2-year restraining order, in April. And then Amy and I continue on our relationship. I proposed to her in like May 2nd, right? Like, I've known her for 2 months. And I bought this, $8,000 ring, and like, everything's what I think it's supposed to be, right? And then this is when we had our like first, for my perception, our first like big fight. She was on a work trip. We got proposed. I proposed. She said yes. At night, we were watching Seinfeld in her room, and I like grabbed the ring out of the dresser in her closet and like proposed to her right there in bed in her room. And it just was such a simple but special thing. And so the next morning, though, I bring her to the airport, drop her off. Like, all right, I love you. Like, see you later. Take this, have a picture of it, of us like kissing her, holding her ring. Like, that was our engagement, like, announcement, essentially. The next day, I'm with my 2 kids from my ex-wife, and we're at this like brewery thing for a Seal Future Foundation like fundraiser event, like gathering. And I'm supposed to pick up Amy from the airport, and I like misjudged like how long it would take to get there. So I'm like on my way to the airport. I'm like literally 10 minutes away, and she's like, I landed, where are you? I was like, I'm on my way. And she's like, what do you mean you're on your way? Like, you should be here right now. Like, you should literally be in the terminal with flowers. Alex, we just got engaged. Like, what, you were gonna pull up to the curb and just expect me to walk out and get in your car? And I'm like, yeah, kinda, Like, I got my 2 kids with me, and we were just at this thing, That's how I was thinking, So that was like our first fight, and she was like, I don't want to ride. Like, I'll just Uber. I'm like, my fiance's not gonna Uber from the airport. I'm 10 minutes away. Like, just wait. I'll park. I'll come in. Like, just wait. And she was like, no. I was like, all right. So go to her house. I'm at her house for like 15 minutes before she shows up, and I'm like super excited to see her. Right? I'm like, whatever. Maybe she cool. And then it's like, no. And then we just got an argument, and then later on in May or beginning of June, she's got a work trip up to Pennsylvania and asked me to go. And I was like, yeah, that'd be cool. Like, can we stop at Long Island at this, I have another match. And she was like, yeah, let's go, that'd be great. So we drive up to Long Island, we do my match, I have 2 matches again. So she's like, is this what you do? I was like, no, it's not. That's just how it worked out, I guess, both times you come, funny enough. So I win both my matches. She's like, this is awesome. Like, this is so much fun. People think I'm the superhero because I'm 1 as a Navy SEAL, and 2, like, I just did 2 matches. Like, nobody's doing that at most of these super fight events. So we go to Pennsylvania to do our work. Then we stayed at this awesome, super nice hotel in Bethlehem that she always stays at. She's super excited to share it with me, right? So everything's going great. I think it was like probably a couple days after I'd been there, right? I get a phone call from my old neighbor, the one that wouldn't watch the kids. Remember last October, or the October before, and she's like, hey, I got to talk to you about Ashley and Steve. Steve's her husband. They're separated. They're not divorced yet. But I was like, I kind of knew this was happening because my kids had told me that Steve and his daughter had been over to their house, and I was like, that's kind of strange. Like, that's weird. But I'm like, whatever. I'm like super happy with, I'm engaged. Like, this is life's good, you know? Like I'm staying in this badass hotel, I'm eating free breakfast, and I'm like training at this awesome gym. And I have like this chick that is supporting me and everything. Like, I don't care. I was like, I'm sorry, honestly, I just don't care. Like, it is what it is. And then she was like, no, Alex, she cheated on you. I was like, no, she didn't. She's like, I'm telling you she did. I'm like, she didn't. And she's like, she did. I have the text to prove it. And I was like, I would love to see him because, you know, like, I understand you're bitter right now and whatever, like, but if that's true, then, you know, that would bother me because my ex had gone and told everybody that I cheated on her, I did this and did that, which is all true. I did all those things. But she had doubled down and been like, I was so loyal. I was loyal to a fault. Like I shouldn't have been, and I was. Like, I never did anything to you. And, you know, she told my friends, my family that, like, my dad and I, our relationship changed after that. Because of, you know, how him and my mom had split up. My brother and I got in an argument. We hadn't talked for like 6 months. So it was just like, it was shitty. And I was like, man, if she really cheated on me like that changes things. So I was like, I want to know. So she sends me these text messages. I don't open them yet though. I call my ex. I'm like, hey. She's like, oh, did Carrie call you? And I was like, yeah, she did. I was like, what's going on? She's like, I don't know. She's been losing her shit. And I'm just like, yeah, well, she said you cheated on me. And she's like, and she's telling me it was that time in October where like I had a feeling and you swore you didn't, right? She's like, no, I swear to God, I never did. And I was like, all right, well, like, just tell me like right now. Like, I don't care, you know, if you tell me, I won't care. If I find out later, like, I'm gonna be upset because like you lied about this and like you created a lot of damage. So just be honest with me. It's ironic me saying that, right? But so that's what I said. And she's like, I didn't do it. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna read these text messages. She's like, go ahead. I open them up, read them out loud. Yeah, there's 2 different guys she was talking to. One she was just talking to, one like was the guy in New York that she went up there and was having an affair with him the whole time, for a couple months anyway. And I was just like, how the fuck could you do this to me? You cheated on me too. I'm like, that's different. I cheated, yeah, absolutely. I had an affair, absolutely. You had an affair, absolutely. Like, whatever, you know? We're just horny people who are both like attractive and whatever. We have needs. I get that. That's fine. You know, in the grand scheme of things, that's fine. Like, there's other problems though. It's that look at the damage you did. Like, you ruined relationships for me. Like, this sucks. You know, what the hell? Like, why would you do that? Like, why couldn't you just be like, yeah, you know, whatever. He cheated on me and I'm breaking up with him. But then you like go and do all this stuff and like make yourself look like a victim and me just this evil, bad person. Turn my family against me. This sucks. So, you know, we kind of work through it though, as we do. Her and I get along great. I'm not going to say that we don't. But I was upset. But anyway, I'm like, ah, whatever. Like, screw this. This is stupid. So, I'm like, I'm just go to the gym, train, whatever. It was Wednesday night. It's like competition rules at this gym. So I tell Amy, I'm like, hey, I want to go. Like, will you get some footage and content for me? Like, this would be good. She's like, yeah, that'd be great. I want to go to dinner with my friends from work, but like, you're saying this is important to you. Like, let me help. Let me support you. And I was like, thank you so much. Like, this means a lot. Like, we'll go out after, I promise. So we go to the gym. She does all the videos, like makes some connections for me, does what she does. She's really good at that. And we go to dinner later. We go to like one of her favorite restaurants there in Bethlehem. And we bring the camera. And she's like, let's upload the pictures to your phone. I was like, okay, cool. So she's like, let me see it. So I give her my phone and I'm like, oh, got like these text messages and I had like screenshots, so they're in my album, that this had happened. And so she sees these and she's like, what are these? I was like, oh, I found out that, Ashley was cheating on me with, back then. And, my old neighbor had told me, and you didn't think you needed to tell me? I was like, well, not really, no. Like, I didn't think anything good because, like, it's for me to process, and I just didn't want to, I'll work through it. And she got super mad at me. We got in a big fight, because I was upset that my wife had cheated on me, and we got in a fight over that. Next day, we get in an argument, whatever. She goes to work, does her thing, or I drop off at work. I go to the gym or whatever, come back to the hotel. I'm like, hey, like, can I come see you for lunch or whatever? And she's like, yeah, I guess. And show up to her work. She gets in the car and, like, doesn't say anything, just sits down, just, like, plays on her phone. And I'm like, I get upset. I'm like, I just drove here to see you. Like, there's plenty of other things I could do besides just sit here and you, like, be mad at me and text on your phone and ignore me. And she had, like, a bowl of soup with her. And we get in this argument, and I was like, I forget exactly what happened, but I took her ring back, or she gave it to me, one or the other. And then, like, she got out of the car. I got out of the car too, and I grabbed the bowl of soup, and I just threw it. And to this day, I still swear I didn't throw it at her. I wouldn't throw soup at her. That's ridiculous. But she said I threw it at her, said it got all over her and whatever. It didn't. I promise you that. But anyway, so we get this huge argument. You threw soup at me. I'm like, all right, like, whatever. So I go back to the hotel, and she's like, you better be out of there by the time I get back, or I'm calling the police. I was like, okay, like, that's really what you want to do? She's like, yep, you better be gone. She loves making group chats. She makes a group chat between her and my mom, and just, like, goes off about how I threw soup at her and all this and whatever. So I'm just like, you know what? Screw this. This is stupid. Like, I'm not dealing with this shit. I'm not getting the police calling me when I'm supposed to be staying in her hotel room. Like, this is dumb. She wants to throw a hissy fit. So be it. So I call an Uber from Bethlehem to Philadelphia. It's like fucking $180 Uber. Go there. My dumbass downloads Hinge in the car there because I'm just pissed off. Spend like $400 on a plane ticket, fly back one way from Philadelphia, day of, back to Virginia Beach, get an Uber to her house where my car's at, pack up all my shit, trying to pack up my stuff. She calls me, then she calls her, and I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. You told me to leave. She's like, I can't believe you left. And I'm like, you literally told me to leave. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do? So I leave, and then she's on speakerphone with her daughter. Her daughter's 16 or 15 at the time, holding the phone up, and I'm trying to just pack my stuff. Like, I just want to leave. I want to be done with this. And I, like, flip out on her, and I was just like, shut the fuck up. And I shut the door. And she loves to tell everyone that I screamed that at her daughter. Like, I suppose in a way I did, because she's standing literally right in front of my face. And I yelled this at her. Even though I'm yelling at her mom, she's on the phone, and I shut the door, not to, like, shut her face the door, but just, like, I need a second to breathe. I'm getting to a point where I'm like, I don't like this. This is not comfortable for me. I just want to pack my shit and fucking go. So that turns into this big thing. And then, yeah, that was, June of last year, 2025. And it just, honestly, ever since then, things have just gotten worse and worse and worse. With some super high highs, like happiest and most loved I've ever felt in my entire life. Like, everything is wonderful. And then, like, this is not good. This continues on. And then she, because she found out I downloaded Hinge, so she started talking to other guys too, and then giving access to men all the time. She never did anything, at least not that I know of. Who knows, it could come out in a year and a half later, like it did with my ex-wife. Doesn't matter. But the point being, like, I did know about it. She did it in front of my face. Usually, I'm talking to so-and-so, and, like, there was one guy, like, every month that she talked to, whether it was text message or Instagram or whatever, but there was always some guy, and I was just like, this is messed up. Like, I don't like this at all. And she's like, you're insecure. I'm like, I'm not insecure. Like, if I have a Ferrari and it doesn't mean, I'm like, people can look at it. I can't stop them from looking at it. But I don't want them coming up and opening the door, whether they take it for a drive or not. Like, I don't want it. That's how I explained it to her. I don't have a Ferrari, so say at my house. You can look at my house all you want. You can walk up on this step and be like, oh man, it'd be nice to get inside, but you're like, doors are locked. Move along, buddy. No soliciting. But when you open that door up, that's when we have a problem, and I feel super disrespected, and I'm territorial. That created problems. And she picked at that. She pushed those pain points. And I lost myself again. The chaos really started to come out. I lost my shit. I was on citrulline, which is an SSRI for depression. My mood was all over the place. It was just, and then I tried to come off, and then that was the first time I came off it, like just cold turkey. I watched a different podcast I had and just imploded. I was at school. I was in an executive MBA program in St. Louis, and I just like started bawling uncontrollably, which is a side effect of coming off citrulline. And she was there. She comforted me, made everything better. It was great. It was awesome. That was October last year. And then December came around. We just got back from like a jiu-jitsu seminar thing. There was a guy there, well known in the jiu-jitsu community. We met him at this seminar thing that he had put on, and she got his Instagram, and then they started talking all the time, and I got really mad about it. And I blew up. Like on the internet, I blew up on him. Said a bunch of stupid, crazy, just ignorant stuff to him. And then it's like jiu-jitsu group chat I was in, I was saying stuff in there too. And just being an idiot, a complete, just an utter buffoon. And hurt her in the process too. It was just a mess. And then signed up for this DSGB shot. So you put lidocaine essentially in your ganglion, and it's like a nervous system reset. And I do that at the end of December. Like, I gotta calm down. Like, this is messed up, right? We get in another argument. Just that procedure did absolutely nothing for me. We get an argument. New Year's comes, and I'm like in the process of moving to North Carolina at this point, like bouncing back and forth from Virginia to North Carolina. January comes along, January 2nd, she comes over. We're having a good time. We hook up, talk about life and whatnot. She's not feeling well though, or so she says, and asked me to go get some food for her. She wants KFC. And I was like, all right, you don't feel good, you want to eat fast food, but that's, whatever. That's on you. That's what you want. I care about you. I just want you to eat. So I'll go get it. So I leave my house. KFC's like 8 minutes down the street from my house. And I call my ex on the way there to talk to the kids. She's on the way to the gym. I don't get to talk to him. I was on the phone for like 2 minutes. Get the food, come back. I had a Ring camera in my bedroom. Took it out of the living room, put it in the bedroom, and she did the same thing. This is where our trust was at. Like, we didn't trust each other so much. We had put freaking cameras in the rooms to watch each other. So, but I'm watching this camera, and she's like on her phone the entire time. She's like, she told me, I'm gonna take a nap while you go get KFC. I was like, okay, that's fine, So I'm watching her on her phone literally the entire time, just thumbing away. I pull up in the driveway. She must not have heard me or whatever. So I'm watching the camera all the way up, step, front of the door. I'm about to open the door, and I'm looking at the camera on my phone. I open the door, and as soon as I open the door, I just see her like quickly put the phone down and like close her eyes. And I was just like, so I walk in my room like, hey, you can quit the act. Like, there's a camera here, right? Like, you have to know that that's there. Like, of course I'm going to look at it, because just as we're arguing all the time. We don't trust each other. So I'm gonna test what you're doing. She's like, well, I know, I was falling asleep. I'm like, no, it's like, it's literally right there. Like, look, I can see you. I was like, I saw you texting the whole time. What's going on? So we get in this argument over that. She's like, I was like, let's just not even talk at all. Let's just sit down. Let's just eat our shitty KFC food and, get our blood sugar back up, and we'll go from there. So we do that. And then she's like, did you call Ashley when you were gone? I was like, yeah. And that just set off the thing, because I deleted the call log. So she's like, I want to see it. I'm like, I deleted it. She's like, why did you delete it? And we got this huge fight, and stay tuned. More to come. Part 2, we're just getting started. There's a lot more chaos coming on before we have any sort of hint of command. So thank you for watching this far. Stand by for part 2. We'll get that out soon.